Everybody came by with lots of different questions. I would say one of the most common questions was, how do I get my team engaged in EQUIPP itself, and how can we utilize the platform to our best ability? So educating their teams on how they could complete the enhanced services opportunities for their teams and how they can get every single person in the pharmacy itself involved was really exciting. We were able to teach how technicians can complete opportunities, how pharmacists can complete opportunities, and how they can also work simultaneously to get those done and, assist their patients as best as they could.
Welcome to the Pharmacy Quality Solutions Quality Corner Show. Buckle up and put your thinking cap on. The Quality Corner Show starts now.
Hello, Quality Corner Show listeners. Welcome to the PQS podcast, where we focus on medication use, quality improvement, and how we can utilize pharmacists to improve patient health outcomes. My name is David Simoneaux. I am the Senior Communications Specialist at PQS by Innovacer, and I'm taking over hosting duties today so we can flip the script and interview Nick Dorich, who was our usual host, who just happened to attend NCPA, with another PQS teammate, Mital Patel. This was last week. The event was also held in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to handle this as a mini roundtable, and I'll ask some questions to our team that attended, and we can talk about the excitement and buzz from NCPA Annual. So first, I'd like to do a quick background check with Nick and Mital about your roles at PQS. Nick, I'll let you start.
Yeah, thanks, David. And it's weird being on this side of the podcast interview, but my name is, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, Nick Dorich. I'm the Associate Director of Pharmacy Accounts at PQS. I'm a pharmacist by background, and in my role at PQS, I oversee our team that works with all of our pharmacy clients. That includes the many chain pharmacies, as well as the independent pharmacies, which is what we're going to be focusing on for the purposes of today's podcast.
Awesome. And Mital, I'll let you go ahead.
Sure. My name is Mital Patel. I am a Quality Programs Engagement Specialist here at PQS. I focus on how we can get pharmacies engaged in using our EQUIPP platform and how they can best generate revenue for their pharmacies.
Great. Thank you both. Okay, we'll begin now. And for our first question, I know why PQS attended NCPA Annual, but can you tell us, Nick, why PQS was attending the conference this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So the National Community Pharmacists Association, or NCPA, their annual convention, it is the biggest kind of broad aspect or broad consideration meeting for independent pharmacy owners. There are, the wholesaler trade shows that are specific to each wholesaler and the pharmacies that they're working with, but NCPA goes across that industry of independent pharmacy and how they can be supporting their business, how they can be supporting the care that they provide in their local communities. So this was a conference that in the past, PQS has attended, but we hadn't attended in a few years. Obviously, there were a couple years where the event did not happen physically because of COVID, but this was something that as we at PQS were thinking about how we engage with pharmacies, when we engage with pharmacies, and the importance of that independent pharmacy engagement, this became a must-attend conference for us for 2024. So we made it back to NCPA, and as we talk about today and kind of going through the results and the feedback that we received, it was time, effort, very well spent. We had a lot of great feedback. We had a warm welcome from the independent pharmacy team members, and we're going to be excited to be going back to NCPA in 2025 as well.
That's good to hear. Thank you, Nick. So, Mital, I'm going to pose the next question to you. Maybe you could give me a breakdown of the folks or the attendees that you saw that went by the PQS booth. And then maybe you could tell us, what were they most interested to talk about?
Sure. So we actually had a wide range of attendees that came to our booth. We had everybody from technicians to pharmacists themselves, pharmacy managers, owners, and even students, which is very exciting because we were able to engage them on how they can utilize EQUIPP in their pharmacy as well. So that was very exciting for us. Everybody came by with lots of different questions. I would say one of the most common questions was, how do I get my team engaged in EQUIPP itself, and how can we utilize the platform to our best ability? So educating their teams on how they could complete the enhanced services opportunities for their teams and how they can get every single person in the pharmacy itself involved was really exciting. We were able to teach how technicians can complete opportunities, how pharmacists can complete opportunities, and how they can also work simultaneously to get those done and, assist their patients as best as they could.
Great. That's good to hear. Which kind of rolls into our next question about enhanced services. Nick, actually, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question, but Nick, I'll let you start. How are pharmacies responding to enhanced services?
The first thing that I would note, David, and this was, I bring it up first because I think it's what we at PQS are excited about, what myself as a pharmacist are excited about. But we heard loud and clear from team members and from some pharmacy owners that, hey, these enhanced services or these ways to generate revenue through EQUIPP, that they're keeping us in the black. These are truly revenue generating services. They're ways that pharmacists and pharmacy team members can expand the services they're offering in their community, but they are positive for cash flow, for the pharmacies as well. It is pharmacy. It is a healthcare business. That is a reality of it. But when we can marry up that the pharmacy teams are caring for the patient, doing the right thing for the patient, doing the right thing for the community, and it's something where the pharmacy can add to that bottom line and keep them in the black, towards the end of the year. I think to me, that's perhaps the most exciting item. And I think as we go forward, we're going to be, bringing on and hoping to bring on more of those pharmacies to share their testimonials or share how they're doing these services, how they're providing them, and then how they're actually beginning to promote them. Because that's the other thing. In some cases, these are new services for the patients in the community. So, when you talk to patient Joe about we need to do an adherence check for you, or hey, can we take your blood pressure, or can we take your hemoglobin A1C? They may say no the first time around because it is something that's new. They haven't heard that from their pharmacist before. Maybe some pharmacies, they have heard it before. But for the patients, this is something where they're beginning to expect new services from their pharmacy staff members. And that we really love to hear. But Mital, I think that's the key takeaway that I had from some of the conversations. How about from yourself?
Sure, Nick, I think you're spot on. I would really say it's just a win-win for everybody. Win for the pharmacy that they're able to generate some extra revenue with the services that they're providing. And it's a win for our patients too. We think about how often patients visit pharmacies versus how often they actually visit their doctor's offices. And we see them almost every single month. So why not take advantage of that and be able to provide them services that we can at the pharmacy level? They're able to go ahead and take advantage of having their hemoglobin A1C, like you said, Nick, or having their blood pressure taken, or even just having adherence check-ins. So it is a win-win all around for our team.
Great. Thank you, Mital. Okay, Nick, next question is for you. So after gathering responses from pharmacists at this event, what do you think independent pharmacies would like to see in the future in EQUIPP?
Yeah, great question here, David, and something that we talked with many of our pharmacy partners at this event about. And I'll note kind of a couple of very clear items. One, we had a lot of pharmacies noticing on the backdrop at our booth that we were talking about these primary care services. So we're talking about the blood pressures, we're talking about the hemoglobin A1Cs, even things like health risk assessments or social determinants of health. Some of those items where pharmacies are saying, "Wait, can we do that, or can we do that yet?" And how do we get more of those opportunities? So it is one item there where we heard from pharmacies that they're going to pick up and start providing these services. That's very much intentional for what they would like to be doing. But scaling for them makes a big difference. So the more health plans that are allowing pharmacists or that are paying pharmacies to provide these services, the more that these items are really going to be catching on. So that was a big part. And I would say not just within Medicare, but also beyond Medicare. So whether you're a healthcare plan that's not yet engaged or involved with it, come on board. We've already got pharmacies we're working through for these items. But even if you're not a Medicare plan, whether you're a commercial or a Medicaid plan, pharmacies are able to provide these services and they provide value for the patients. The other item that I would note that was a very consistent message that we heard from pharmacies is that when they are looking into EQUIPP, that they want these items to be very, very clear on what they need to do, when they need to do it, and then what is that reimbursement looking like? So that's another item that we've had more of those opportunities available in EQUIPP and making it more clear in EQUIPP over the last couple of years. And we've had some early conversations internally here at PQS about how we can draw more attention easily to the financial aspects of the programs because that does drive activity by the pharmacy teams into if they know they can provide these patient care services and it can generate revenue, that's going to catch their attention, whether it's a pharmacy owner, a pharmacy manager, a pharmacy technician. So, those are the parts I think that were really clear for us. And we're going to look forward to, implementing or making some of these items more visible and EQUIPP for 2025.
Yeah, we definitely want the pharmacist to see those dollars available. So, yeah, I like that thought process. So, one more question for you guys. I know, Mital, that you and Nick, you were out there on the show floor talking to NCPA attendees. Any suggestions or tips about using EQUIPP that they might have offered you guys? Again, more ways to improve the platform as well. So,
Sure, Nick, I can go ahead and start off if that's okay.
Yeah.
We had a lot of feedback from fabulous technicians. These guys were all stars for their pharmacies. They were able to schedule appointments with their patients, letting them know, hey, looks like we got an alert and EQUIPP that you might be due for a blood pressure reading or an A1C reading or just an adherence check-in. Can you spend 5 more minutes at the pharmacy with us? And that really helped preparing the patient to know, okay, I'm going to be spending just a little bit of extra time with the pharmacy, but it is a health benefit for me. And it was able to provide the pharmacists themselves with, hey, Mr. Smith is going to be coming in today. Let me prepare myself so I can have their testing ready, whatever discussions we need to have ready. So definitely having the technicians involved in how they can prepare the conversations for when they actually occur at the pharmacy was a great feedback that we received from a lot of technicians.
Yeah, I'll add to that. And there's a commonly used phrase, prior planning prevents poor for performance. And you touched on that a little bit with how the technicians or how some pharmacy team members were telling us how their technicians are involved with those services. But I think that's the overarching, item that we need to consider when we're talking about quality improvement programs, which that's what we're talking about with these EQUIPP programs. For a pharmacy team, this cannot be an afterthought. This needs to be something that is top of mind. And as we heard from many pharmacy team members, these services are what's keeping them profitable and it's revenue generating. So, from that consideration, it can't be an afterthought. It needs to be top of mind. You need to have a quality champion, whether that's the pharmacy owner, whether that's the manager, a staff pharmacist, your lead technician, but somebody needs to be playing quarterback or point guard, depending on which sports metaphor you want to use. Somebody needs to be helping to drive that work. And then the other aspect of it, Mital, you mentioned scheduling, right? That's another important aspect where if you're looking ahead and continuously reviewing your EQUIPP information, you may be seeing or identifying, hey, we've got patient Joe that's coming into the pharmacy for their flu shot, or they're coming due for their medication. Well, let's check in EQUIPP. Does Joe have an A1C that we can take? Does Joe have a blood pressure reading that we can take and get paid for? So coordinating some of those services so that when the patient comes in, they're not just picking up their medication, they're getting kind of their whole health workup from their pharmacy team, where you're able to check off multiple boxes at once. And again, in a way that in this case, the prior planning is going to ensure high level of performance as it relates to these opportunities in EQUIPP.
Great. Thanks, Nick. And Mital, I'm going to throw this back to you. So for folks that didn't attend, or folks that did attend and they still want to know how to get back in touch with PQS, with the questions they might have about EQUIPP, what's the best avenue for them to do that?
Sure. So if you're able to log into your EQUIPP platform, right on the top left-hand screen, you're going to see a little support button. When you click on there, you can submit a support ticket to us, or you can reach out to us at support.pharmacyquality.com.
One other item before we go to, I forgot this, but I want to make sure we mention it as far as like best practices or tips. One of the items that we heard loud and clear from pharmacies, we even had at one point 2 pharmacists that were at the booth speaking with myself and Mital. One of them said they weren't aware with this feature, and the other pharmacist stopped their conversation with me to say, hey, you got to sign up for this. The text reminders. So, if you're a pharmacy that has opportunities around enhanced services, there is a way that you can sign up for text reminders, and that every Friday, if your pharmacy does have new opportunities, you'll get a text notification. So even if you're not checking it on your own, you're getting a message to say, go in, check out this. And we at PQS have seen a much higher level of engagement from those pharmacies, because if they're getting that reminder, they're going and checking them, they're doing the work, which is fantastic. So make sure, if you're listening to this podcast, if you haven't already, or if a member of your pharmacy team hasn't already signed up for those text reminders, make sure to go in and do this right when you finish listening.
That is a great tip. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Mital, as well. I will also add that you can also get your questions answered on EQUIPP by just emailing us support@pharmacyquality.com or by visiting support.pharmacyquality.com and visiting our knowledge base, which has answers to a lot of questions that you can type in and find out as well. I think that covers it for our questions. Nick, did you want to wrap things up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we're approaching here at the end of the year, we're really excited to continue offering and working through these programs and services with community pharmacies. So it's a busy time of the year with a lot of things going on, but a lot of opportunity to engage with EQUIPP and provide a more holistic, a more comprehensive approach to patient care. So make sure if your pharmacy team isn't engaging with EQUIPP today, you contact us, find that right person to be your pharmacy champion, and then go from there.
Yeah, thank you, Nick and Mital, again for your time today. I think this was pretty fun and a different way to do the podcast. We might do this again in the future. We'll see. But that does indeed wrap up this episode of the Quality Corner Show. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you listen to our next episode.
The Pharmacy Quality Solutions Quality Corner Show has a request for you. Our goal is to spread the word about how quality measurement can help improve health outcomes, and we need your help in sharing this podcast to friends and colleagues in the healthcare industry. We also want you to provide feedback, ask us questions, and suggest health topics you'd like to see covered. If you are a health expert and you want to contribute to the show or even talk on the show, please contact us. You can email info@pharmacyquality.com. Let us know what is on your mind, what we can address, so that you are fully informed. We want you to be able to provide the best care for your patients and members, and we wish all of you listeners out there well.